All right, our latest rendition of. Why would you say that? Why are you saying this? We got Trump here, our boy, big man himself. So what? He decided to go on a little trip to the EU to golf in Scotland at one of his golf courses, where, funnily enough, he cheated with like the caddy like dropping balls in front of him because again, like Trump is just the kind of dude who will do literally anything possible in order to get his way, including fucking cheat, because he's just like a fucking loser born with a silver spoon in his fucking mouth who's never had to struggle for a day in his life. But like what he was talking with Prime Minister Keir Starmer. It was probably like the cringe and soy and stuff. He also went there to get like a bunch of trade deals done with the EU and shit like that. You know, standard like I don't know, U.S. diplomatic fucking bullshit. Blah 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 blah. You know, but during that press conference he was having with Keir Starmer, he was talking about never having the privilege of going to Epstein's island. Why would you say that? Well, why would you say that? That's a little sus. It's a little weird. But what do we got here from the big man himself?
That was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth. And by the way, I never went to the island.
He just like randomly brings up. He just randomly brings it up. Why? Why are you saying this? Wait. That's It's like that. This gets making me immediately think like, wait, why are you bringing this up? It seems a little weird because I know that people in Scotland were hounding him about the fucking Epstein files because again, buddy, we know from the Wall Street Journal that your dumbass is in the fucking Epstein files. You've known since May that your name appears in there multiple times. As your fucking Attorney General, Pam Bondi, said herself. So, yeah, what's going on here? What's up? Yeah, I think Bro's brain is probably just completely cooked. I think that's probably the easiest explanation.
And Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. I never.
28 times. Well, this is like the standard sort of like fascistic like strategy here, right? Like over embellish, over sort of play, you know, to just like try to make it sound as like I don't know, as big of a sell as possible. Trump does this like all the fucking time, right? Like with like the Ukrainian casualty counts, where it's like 4,000 a week are dying, 5,000 a week are dying, 7,500 a week are dying, even though there's like no evidence to say any of that, and like most of the estimates say it's about 2,000 a week are dying. So yeah, it's that's cool. Yeah, you know, yeah, free Ghislaine to lock up some Democrats. That's true. That's like the only way I suppose for these dumbasses to try to like deflect from this. It's really silly. Like he's probably gonna fucking pardon her, dude. If he fucking pardons Ghislaine Maxwell, right? And because we all know what the sort of like strategy is right now from the conservatives, they're trying to rehabilitate Ghislaine Maxwell in order to just, well, you know, no, they're not. They're gonna fucking hate him for that. Boy Meets Minnie. Why do you think they're trying so hard to rehabilitate Ghislaine fucking Maxwell? Right? They're because if he does go ahead with a fucking pardon, and he has said multiple times, it's just like, no, Boy Meets Minnie. They're gonna revolt. They're gonna hate that shit, dude. Like they saw like the cover up he was fucking doing, and it was just like a complete mess, complete fucking shit show. Influencers were turning on him. We've talked about this before, Boy Meets Minnie. Like, have you forgotten? No one is very happy about the fact that Trump is being rather evasive about releasing the fucking Epstein files. Very, very fucking evasive. Like, I don't think so. I don't fucking think so. Oh yeah, if she's just freed and no one else is locked up, then it's a massive Trump bell. Free her and lock up Bill Clinton. They may sort of like look at that as well, but listen, he said he'd lock up Hillary Clinton, and he never locked up Hillary Clinton. I don't think he's locking up Bill Clinton. But there's no. He is very, very unpopular amongst his own base on the fucking Epstein files, right? It's really, really bad in terms of this. Why, like, again, a bunch of conservative, like, media apparatchiks are going out there and they're trying to rehabilitate Ghislaine Maxwell to, well, try to basically make it look like the pardoning is not as bad of a look. Like, we saw the fucking Newsmax clip of the guy saying that Ghislaine Maxwell was a fucking victim of a political fucking witch hunt. Are you crazy? No, she fucking wasn't. It's ridiculous. Just the idea that they're trying to like rehabilitate her to make her look not as bad when Trump possibly fucking pardons her is the point. So then he can like release the info on the fucking Epstein files and try to like dust this all into the stuff, or dust this all under the bed. And like literally like Tim Burchett, we all know about the fucking Tim Burchett clip where he just admitted saying like, oh yeah, you know, we just want to subpoena Ghislaine Maxwell because we know she's a liar and we just want to curtail her fucking sentence. He admitted it. We saw the clip yesterday. He just admits it. It's fucking crazy. And that's why, like, Democrats at this point are being more aggressive, talking about the fucking goddamn Epstein files, saying, like, we want to see the Epstein files. Why is Trump's personal fucking lawyer talking with Ghislaine Maxwell, trying to get a fucking sweetheart political deal? Like, what's going on there? That's a little weird. That's a little sus. And the Democrats are talking about this, saying, like, bring out information on the Epstein files. Bring it out. We know you're in there, Trump. Like, what's going on here? Like, why are you people so afraid about releasing it? I thought you guys said you were going to release it. And a bunch of them are starting to fucking say this stuff. Because it is very obvious and very clear that he is quite hesitant on releasing information on the fucking Epstein files. And saying stuff like, never had the privilege of going to Epstein Island. That's very, very fucking suspicious. That's a very, very strange thing to be saying. And it's not going to play well with his base.
Never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard, and many other.
Like, he's trying to do everything possible to fucking deflect from this stuff. But again, you just have to keep talking about like how like the Wall Street Journal, without actually mentioning the Wall Street Journal. It's pretty easy. You can just say like they literally knew since May. Like Pam Bondi told him, saying like, yeah, that he was in the Epstein files multiple times. Like they know he's in there. Like you just keep having you have to just keep mentioning that over and over and over again.
The people that are very big people, nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island, and I did turn it down. But a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island.
Why would you say this? Like that's just gonna make people more inherently fucking suspicious. Certainly making me way more fucking suspicious. It's like, huh? It's not about fucking privilege. Like, again, Jeffrey Epstein's whole thing is that he's an information guy. He's a broker of information on, like, all the fucking billionaires and stuff. Like, why would you do that? That's a little weird.
In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island.
Sure, dude. Then, why did the White House sort of, like, release this stuff? People were taken out of the spa hired by Epstein. Now, we know what that Ghislaine Maxwell, her whole shtick was recruiting girls from Jeffrey Epstein, or for Jeffrey Epstein, to, well, sexually abuse. Why are there a bunch of people, like, going into one of Trump's spas, like, probably back, assumably, than when they had, like, a better relationship, and trying to, like, recruit a bunch of girls that used to work for Donald Trump? That's a little weird. That's a little suspicious. But what? People were taken out of the spa, hired by Epstein. I told them, we don't want you taking our people, whether it's a spa or not spa. He did it again. I said, out of here. And that's like the sort of like main talking point now to say as to why he doesn't have any relationships with Jeffrey Epstein, even though that's like not the case. There's photos of him with in the 90s of him hanging out with Epstein, interviews with fucking Epstein. Epstein went on trial or putting out testimony in 2010, pleaded the fifth when answering the question on if he decided to if he was hanging out with Donald Trump with a bunch of underage girls. Like, huh? This is the line you want to go with? Really? That's fucking insane, dude.
Certain reputation, obviously. But just curious, were some of the workers
that
that
were taken
One. From you?
And also, this was released by the fucking White House itself. Crazy.
Some of them young women? Were some of them young women?
Well, I don't want to say, but
Yeah,
everyone knows the people that were taken. And it was the concept of taking people that work for me is bad. But
how would you even have like a slight inclination or idea for as to like what is going on with like the people who Jeffrey Epstein was taking? Like, why would you know that? Why would you know that? That's a little suspicious. That's a little weird, Trump. Why would you have an inkling for us the operation that Jeffrey Epstein was running? Why would you know that? Why do you have that info? That's a little weird. That's a little sus.
That story's been pretty well out there, and the answer is yes, they were.
Yes, they were young women.
What did they do?
In the spa.
In the spa.
Yeah, people that work in the spa. I have a great spa, one of the best spas in the world at Mar-a-Lago. And people were taken out of the spa, hired by him. In other words, gone. And other people would come and complain, this guy is...
Again, like, really? We're gonna get to Virginia Guthrie's testimony here, but soon enough. But why was he allowed to do that? Again, we know that you were buddy. Now we don't have a frame of reference in terms of the time for as to when this fucking happened, but we can make the assumption, and I don't think it's a ridiculous leap in logic to assume like this was back when they were still on good terms with one another and still talking with one another. When Jeffrey Epstein was allowed in and was just like having Ghislaine Maxwell walk around and just like recruit girls, underage girls, in order to have them be, well, trafficked. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a little sussy, a little weird.
Taking people from the spa. I didn't know that. And then when I heard
I had
about
no
it,
idea.
I told them, I said, listen, we don't want you taking our people, whether it was spa or not spa. I don't want them taking people.
Taking them for what, Trump? What did he, he's not answering that question. It's like, what were they taken for, buddy? I feel like that's important information that you might need to disclose. I don't know.
And he was fine, and then not too long after that, he did it again, and I said, out of here.
Mr.
Did
President,
it again.
Did one of those stolen, persons that include Virginia Giuffre?
I don't know. I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was one of the people. Yeah. He stole
He didn't remember. There's no way he fucking remembered. There's no way.
her. And by the way, she had no complaints about us, as you know. None whatsoever. So,
All right, well, let's see. What did she have to say, right? Virginia Giuffre. What? Ghislaine Maxwell approached 17-year-old Virginia Giuffre at Mar-a-Lago, where she worked at the time, and sex trafficked her to Jeffrey Epstein. Yep, this is a fact. We know this. When asked what justice would look like for her, she said, "I would like to see Ghislaine stay in jail forever." Keep in mind, he's thinking about fucking pardoning her. So, pardoning her, or at least significantly curtailing her sentence if he can get some political dirt out of Ghislaine Maxwell to talk about, like, you know, his political opponents, billionaire, a bunch of other billionaires who's probably like wronged him, in order to have some kind of an out, right? In order to talk about like, well, hey, how about you focus on these guys who are much worse? Because he's already trying to do that exactly with fucking Bill Clinton. And damn, Virginia died by suicide on April 25th, 2025. Jesus Christ, bro. That's fucking depressing. But what do we got here?
She is a monster. She's worse than Epstein. She did things even worse than Epstein did. She was vicious, she was evil, and she was a woman.
Her lawyers have said Ghislaine Maxwell is not a Jeffrey Epstein, that she has been a victim of media spin.
They're doing their job, but I know that woman. I've known her really well. Put it this way. Epstein was Pinocchio, and she was Geppetto. She was the guy controlling
Pulling the strings?
Jeffrey. Yep, she was pulling the strings. She had his money. He had her contacts. But Ghislaine was much more conniving and smart than Epstein ever was.
Well, that's a little suspicious. Why would she know about all this stuff, Trump? Like, what's going on here? And that's the motherfucker you want to start, like, curtailing sentences for him? We all already know that she was also joined in on Epstein and, like, sexually abusing these girls. Like, she did that. She quite literally did that. We have testimony from the girls themselves. So, well, that's a little different. That's a little interesting. This gives credence to the Epstein being an intelligence asset. More than likely, right? Like, I mean, his whole thing, like, we talked about this before. He's an information broker. That's the point. He collects a bunch of information on a bunch of these really, really rich, powerful people. And what's the express purpose of that? It's very, very useful to have all that fucking info on people because of the fact that, well, hey, for the state, they want to make sure that those billionaires, those incredibly rich, wealthy, powerful people, are under the control of the state itself. That is the point of that, right? Like, that's not hyperbolic or fucking ridiculous to say, right? Like, all about maintenance of hierarchy and control with these people. That's the point.
Virginia, how did you meet her, and what was her pitch to you?
I'm working at Mar-a-Lago, loving it. I'm working in the spa area. I was reading about anatomy and massage, and that's when Ghislaine came up to me and said, "Oh my God, you're reading a book about massage." And, you know, long story short, she told me that she knew of a man who was looking for a traveling masseuse. And if he liked me, then I would get educated and I would become a real massage therapist. So, yeah, I mean, it was...
Well, there's the coercive element right there. Pretty clear as fucking day. Oh, you want to become a massage therapist? You want to become a masseuse? Well, I have a guy who can teach you and stuff like... And keep in mind, does Jeffrey Epstein have, like, any credentials to, I don't know, be a massage teacher? Probably not, no. The guy was a fucking high school, like, I think he was like a social studies substitute teacher or some shit. Yeah, dude. Fucking Jeffrey Epstein, also a studier of the human anatomy. He's very, very, knows a lot about that, about financing, human anatomy stuff. Like, what else? Like the Superman Jeffrey Epstein. He knew all this different stuff. Who knows?
Dream of a lifetime until I got there, and the abuse was immediate.
It has been reported that they would prey on young girls who were vulnerable.
She could smell the vulnerability on a person. I told them a little bit about my past and how I'd been abused. So immediately it was like the Cheshire smile is what I call it. And I asked her, I said, why are you having all these girls come in and sleep with your boyfriend? And she was like, so I don't have to do it all the time. You know, so she made like a...
That's, alright. That's a little weird. Don't have to fucking sleep with Jeffrey Epstein? Well, what does that even mean? Why would she say that? Why would Ghislaine Maxwell fucking say that? That's a little, the point is it's the trafficking, it's the abuse. That's the point, right? Because Epstein's a pedophile, right?
a joke out of it.
Why do you think she did it?
She did it to keep Jeffrey happy, for sure. She did it because she loves the control over people. Jeffrey was a sick pedophile, but she was the mastermind.
What would justice look like for
Crazy.
you when it comes to Ghislaine Maxwell?
I would like to see Ghislaine stay in jail forever. I'd like her to apologize for what she's done to me and so many others.
Well, I have bad news for you, Virginia. Well, you know, rest in peace. Obviously, 07, obviously. The guy who palled around with him is thinking about, well, either curtailing her sentence or pardoning her. Because, you know, he never had the privilege of going on to Little St. James. Yeah, right. Like, I fucking believe that for even 3 fucking seconds, okay? Like, has been said before constantly from the Fire and Fury podcast and with all the different leaks, like, Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump have been well-known friends and socialized together constantly for fucking years. Like, for 10 years, Jeffrey Epstein was one of Donald Trump's best friends. Jeffrey Epstein called him his best friend. So, like, the idea here that, you know, she might be getting fucking pardoned because of all this, because he just wants to, have, a political cudgel to, I don't know, bludgeon with the Democrats over and not have anyone focus on him, is fucking insane. Again, he's having one of his personal fucking attorneys, one of his personal defense attorneys, who he hired into the fucking DOJ, do current fucking interviews with Ghislaine Maxwell, quite literally, in order to get as much political dirt as possible from her, in order to curtail her sentence, and then put that out to the public as a new sort of Epstein Files, for lack of a better term. So, you know, that's cool. That's great this is happening. That, you know, between the rehabilitation that the conservative media apparatchiks are seemingly starting to do of Ghislaine Maxwell, and a Congress being shut down before being able to look more into that. Looking at you, Mike Johnson, for doing that. And now to stuff where it's just like, why are you saying stuff like this, Trump, where you're talking about never having the privilege of going to Epstein's island? That's a little sus. That's a little weird. So, you know, it's great to sort of see. Great, fantastic to see the fact that he's in the fucking files. He was in the files. He's in the Epstein files. And he's trying to do everything possible in order to deflect from the fact that his dumbass was in the fucking files. Don't think there's really much else to say besides that.